Voluntary is good when we're, down on ourselves, right? When we're just depressed. Because when we're depressed, we're going deep, deep down that we don't want to see anyway and get away from it. But when we go out and help people, or even like when I take my dog out for a walk, in case you guys haven't noticed, I like to talk to people. So that all of a sudden I'm lifted up, or I might see somebody that I think, geez, what am I complaining about? Then you get out of that depression. So I think what a good thing to do is, because people don't seem to care about older people, the elders. So luckily my dog is a emotional support dog, so I take her sometimes to the assisted living, and it's incredible. Like, you guys will be so lifted up if do it as a group or a couple at a time. But I'm not kidding, they'll be in the wheelchairs and they'll be like, and it is so sad, because you think the only reason they're that way is because, let's face it, if we don't have human interaction, then we're going to forget things, we're not going to know social phrases. So anyway, here comes Amy. It's not me, it's Amy coming. She's a little corny pug. And they're like, oh my God, can we talk to your dog? And so I put Amy up, and she's so funny, she'll go like this. She'll sit on the first lap, but she looks up and she goes, like, go ahead, pet me if you want to. So I think it's good if you guys would, put them out there, think about this, to go to assisted living, go in, ask, is there people that never get visitors? And then go to that person, go in the room, say, hi, my name's Grace Marie, and you are, and even if they can't talk to you, it doesn't matter, just like it's so nice to see you, how are you? And they might not say anything, they may, and talk about them, like, I'm 25 years old. What was it like when you were 25? And because like people in their 80s, they probably they could have, I don't know, were the horses back then still? You know what I mean? But like, they probably didn't have internet, So ask them questions, like, what was it like for you? What was dating like for you? I mean, anything, right? And then you can spend 15 minutes and say, would you mind if I come visit you next time? If let's be real. If you're not really feeling it, you don't want to go back to that person. I don't mean that in a mean way, because it's not going to be fun for you. We need that to be fun. But even if you want a couple places, so ask about them, what it was like when they were your age. Then also, if you go back and you find someone that maybe they touched you, that you want to go back, then play cards with them, or bring Luminosity on your iPad and do some games with them, because it will stimulate them, and people need to feel needed and like they have a purpose. And it's the best feeling in the whole wide world. And guess what? We're all going to get old one day. But I'm claiming that I will always be sharp as a 30-year-old, witty, intelligent person. That's what I say to God every day. Thank you. So let's see. And I said, in doing the service, we will gain an insight on how to interact with people, and you will become more compassionate and a successful human being. I think that's true. The other thing I wanted to think, besides do what I came to talk about, but I think it's important, and I think for you guys and everybody, do people know how to manage their money? Because I certainly was not told, and I always thought I was going to be 20 years old. That's what happens when you're an artist. You're like, well, I was going to be 20 years old, and then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have a savings. What did I do wrong? So, curious, do people have an idea about, So, okay, so I always say this too, like, the bank card, it does your balances for you, but do we trust that? Like, sometimes I go back and say, wait a second, yesterday it said this, now there's this, I didn't spend anything, and it's because they jumble it and rearrange it. So I always keep a journal, like you used to, when you had a checking account. You had the debit, what you spend, right, and then your credit and a running balance. So I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there, okay? But, let me just tell you, money. Okay. We should encourage all of us. Money is like manure. We need to spread it around and teach young things to grow. That's from the movie name. I love it. Anyway, we really need to understand the value of money and how do we make money. Like parents probably do give chores, and then depending on what chores you get an amount of money. But I think it's important, and we're still young, so we still need to know the value of money. So when you're thinking about money and all you're thinking about is like, oh great, I got this money, I'm gonna go get that dress I wanted, and then rent comes up and oh God, eesh, gotta use the credit card to pay that, not a good idea. So if we make saving money a habit, that would be a good thing, and you can do it in a fun way. Like, how many people go to Starbucks more than once a week? That's it? I love it. I love that. It's okay. It's all right that you do. You don't go every day, correct?
No.
It'd be okay if you did, but I would help you.
Yeah.
Well, I used to go a lot, right? And then I thought to myself, why am I added out that I was spending about $80 a month on Starbucks coffee. So I would meet my friend there, but I bring my own coffee. She or he bought the coffee there, I don't care. Okay, so we want to make it a habit. And what are some of the things we can do is open a savings and checking account. And then did everybody hear of the 50-30 plan, 50-30-20 plan? Do you want to explain it?
I mean, you're doing such a great job.
Oh, I love it though. I'm scared now that you know, but I'll just read it now. Okay, so your fixed and committed income expenses should be up to 50%. So essentially, no, your after-tax income. So what is a fixed and committed is rent, car payment, insurance, bills, okay? 30% is discretionary spending, luxury, vacation, clothes, who gets to do that? Really. And 20% goes into savings. But remember to put 20% into the savings first. So in other words, pay yourself first. Like I think if you gave yourself, you get a check, pay yourself 15% of it. And then make sure you got the money for the bills, and then you can put savings. So if your company doesn't have you don't have to see if you get one. I know it's the oxygen. You just need oxygen.
Yeah, it's oxygen.
No, it is kind of boring right now. But, well, it is. But so if you don't have a 401k, then guess what you could do? Open a Roth IRA and try to do your best. I don't like that word. Do your best to put $100 a month in there, right? So starting at the age 30. If you put $100 a month in IRA, a good investment at creating a high percent, which we really don't have that anymore, but there is some good stuff. But possibly at the age 65, you could be a $500,000. Seriously, if you never touch it, just put it in there. So my thing, and it doesn't matter that I'm older and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have the savings account. How pathetic is that? So I don't care. I'm starting to do it. I saved by, did I tell you this last week? Someone told me if you get a $5 bill, to put it like in a bucket or something, like you do the change, you know your change. I saved $1,000 last year. And it's not hard. Like, you know what, sometimes you go to the grocery store and you give a 20 and they could have given you a 10 and a 5, but they gave you 3 5s and you're like, delete that other chug. But you're like, okay, I'm committed. And you throw it in that bucket and it is so exciting that you're $1,000. So I put that $1,000 in a Roth IRA. So, and then like you'll figure out how you want. Like I've told them I don't want to spend it for I don't want to see it for 20 years. So these are things you can do. And just remember that when you get money and you spend it, then it's gone. So what do credit cards like to do? They'll get you in college, they'll give you a credit card. They usually do a low balance, like $1,000, correct? Something like that. So then when you're good at it, then all of a sudden they want to raise it. I say to you, no. You are in charge of your credit card. Say, you call them up and say, I don't want you to raise it. I want to stay. And you can decide. Like, I think $1,000, $1,500 is doable to me. Because what you want to get in the habit of is paying everything cash. But of course you need a credit card because if you got to get a plane ticket or you need a car, a rental car, and something emergency comes up. But the idea is that you want to be able to pay that off, your outstanding bills at the end of the month. And because the interest is so high, like I had a card that I had paid off, but it took me, I was doing the, I was probably 10 years. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that was only a $2,000 card, but I just paid them $5,000. It's ridiculous. So if you just get into those little habits, I think it's really important. I wish someone would have shared little tidbits like this with me. And then lastly, and I'll give you the handout, but make money fun. You should have fun. Did anybody read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? I think he's a real estate guy, but anyway, that just was, what I found interesting was, he came from a divorced family, and I can't remember which dad, if it was his real dad or his what do you call the other dad? Thank you. So one liked to read the Wall Street Journal and talk about money and how excited he was to invest, and money's fun and responsibility and to give back, da, da, da. The other one was like, oh my God, I gotta pay my bills, I don't earn enough money. So he says that whatever we kind of tell ourselves in life, that's true, right? Whatever we tell ourselves, we become. So whatever dad it was, he decided to go there, and look at, he's like a millionaire at the top. So be careful what you say to yourself about anything but money, and make it fun. And so Barbara Stanley, she has words of wisdom, and she says, save money. 1, save money. 2, spend less. 3, invest wisely. And 4, give generously. And she says to do it in that order. So believe me, when you give from your heart to anybody, gratitude, right, it comes back 100-fold. So I will let somebody pass those out so we're not at the end of the class like last time. Thank you, darling. You don't have to look at it now. All right, next. Oh, maybe I could ask these questions. I don't know if I covered them. No, I don't think I covered it very well. So I'm going to ask those because it was more on kids. All right, where are we now? We are sharpening our brains. So I like calling it sharpening our brains because I think we can talk about that in dating, like when you go on dates, it's like you're sharpening your social skills. So, even if you're like, oh, I don't like that person, they're really not my face. But, there's something about them. Just go because you're going to sharpen your brain. You're going to learn stuff. So, how do we gain knowledge? Anybody?
Social skills, reading, volunteering.
Yep. And read classics like Aristotle, read half of things, some stuff that you're obviously interested. If you're going to read the newspaper, which I don't know if there's any good newspapers anymore, but read ones that slant left and slant right so that you can use your informed, intelligent decision to make decisions and what your opinion is about stuff. Develop a good vocabulary. So I always highlight things, or now on the computer or your iPad, you could highlight it. It says look out. But I think it's to understand vocabulary and use it 3 times in a day. But sometimes I find the word so fascinating, put it up when I brush my teeth, and then on the bus in the car, because we want to expand our vocabulary. And I'm going to be very quite honest with you. I don't feel like I have that great of a vocabulary. And I'm going to go online because I saw this or heard about this program once that you could somehow to increase your vocabulary. So I got to find it again because I would like to. I don't like when people use big words just to use them. You're like, what are you saying? What? Just keep English, please. But it's good to have the vocabulary. And words are powerful, and words seem to be changing meanings, especially in the political arena, to prove an agenda. So, yeah, words can be changed, but not really. Like a word is a word. Don't misuse it. I don't like that. I tell you, I don't like it. The other way you can sharpen your brain is through talking to people. So like Danielle said, going volunteering or at a dance or, Friendship Sunday. And want to use your listening skills, which sometimes is hard because you want to project, but to listen, to ask questions, like we said in the volunteering thing, asking questions to share their thoughts and interests with one another. I think another way is to go to different states and go to different countries, right? And then you learn about their culture and what foods they like, and dinner parties are fun. You can do, helping set the table and sitting down and chatting with people. And open yourself up to be uncomfortable. You're never going to find some place in life where you're 100% comfortable. Even like in this group, I'm sure. Like whenever anybody first came, it's sort of like, oh no. Let's see, who was really friendly? Nobody, I don't know, it's just me. Oh no. But everybody is friendly. So just go up, or if you notice somebody kind of being that way, go up and say, hey, how you doing? And they could end up being your best friend. So open yourself up to new adventures, and that means hiking, skiing, whatever. Get out there, those meetup groups, and I'm not talking about, what. I'm talking about just meeting new people, interests that you like. Yay. So, all right, so you want to join. See, I told you this topic is not that good. That's why I went to the middle, so that we end on a high note of dating. So, join groups. You just did the Vine, right? Theater groups, cooking classes, book clubs, engage in sports, right? And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can go for a walk. You can, what else doesn't cost money? Tennis. You have the tennis racket and the ball, but you know what I'm saying. It does, like, the gym can cost money. Although there are gyms that you get, I just signed up for one, and $400 the whole year, and I get as many spinning classes I want, yoga and other classes besides the weight. So that was a good deal, right? But some Pilates, hello, $70. Everybody wants to come for me, massage. Oh my God, $100? Yes, I'm working on your whole body for an hour, please. So I'm worth it. Anyway, so then maybe start a book club, right? And say you have 10 people there. The one have it hosted at different houses or different places, and those 10 people, 10 sessions or whatever, they, like, in other words, I don't get to pick all the books. Right? I would too. Yeah, you want to share the books. I like self-help books. I like those. I like, what do you call it? Documentaries, but what are the books? Yes, I love those. And read about people you like. Another thing is since we're Catholic, right? Everybody here Catholic? Yeah, we're the cool people. And let's not be ashamed of that, but we will make other people feel that. Because we want them to be with us too.
Disappear.
So, I love on YouTube, because everybody know, these girls are sick of me, Timothy Gordon and Taylor Marshall. Love them. They are so, I don't even watch TV anymore. I just go home to my iPad, set it up, and have my tea at night, and I'm like up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching. But I am learning so much about our beautiful, true Catholic faith and buzzwords and things, and I'm going, oh my God, now I'm like, right? I'm like, oh God. And it's, in life, people want to take, it's true, they do want to take down the Catholic Church. Why? Because we value God, we want to be in a good relationship with Him, and we try hard not to turn away from Him. We want to turn towards Him. So then you don't get to do all the fun stuff in life, or so they think. But we do, but because you could, go skiing without your poles and put, blindfold yourself and go, whoa, this is going to be fun. What an adventure this is. Bash into a tree and die. So there's rules why we don't do these things. So I love YouTube stuff like them and Father Mike Smith, right? And who I do like, Matthew Kelly we love. And I like Bishop Aaron. No, I do, right? But we're but I think he's good. What I'm learning through all this is that, and I have a priest mentor, he said, he'll go, now slow it down, Grace. I'm like, watch this. And he's saying, sometimes you have to go under the radar, like they're really for the good Catholic Church. And because I'm sorry, I'm going to say it right now, we're not Protestants and nor do we want to be, because the truth of the matter is, going to be harsh, sorry, but the Reformation, I understand there are a lot of things that the Catholic popes and priests and everything have done wrong, right? So we're not perfect. However, Jesus is perfect, gave it to Peter, gave it to us. So when the Reformation happened and then the Protestants went away, they had to take something that Jesus said away in order to set up their church. I don't know if you all know that. So there's something that, like the Eucharist, they don't believe it's the body and blood of Christ. So we are very fortunate to be Catholics. We're very blessed. I don't want to say it makes us better than anybody. It doesn't. We're just blessed, right? And they're out there wanting people to be Protestants, and why shouldn't we want people to be Catholics? And that's God's really want for us to be one Catholic universal church. And so now I get off my church pulpit. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, watching that movie night is great, and sharing that. But a lot of times we just do those things by ourselves. But that's a way we can sharpen our brains and get to know people more, and also it helps us with etiquette and social interaction. Does anybody know, if you want, been a political thing, I don't care if people are liberals or conservatives. What I do care about is that we treat each other with respect and dignity, that we are able to debate, which we seem not to be able to do, because some people don't want to, they get angry right away if you're saying, well, okay. And remember, I think I said this last time, repeat back, okay, I heard you say that you think the president's a racist. That, okay, can you give me an example? What? Oh my God. And you're like, well, what was so wrong about that? I'm curious to know where that is, because we can't go around calling people's names and not backing it up. And it might be how you feel, but feelings don't make it right. Emotions don't make it right, right? And guess what? There are absolute truths. And people like to say, well, that's what your truth is, but my truth is different. Can, on opinions, be that thing. But guess what? The sky is blue, the grass is green, sometimes it's brown because they didn't get enough rain. But there are absolute truths, and don't let people tell you that because they're muddying the waters. So what am I trying to say? Whatever your belief is, don't say it because I said it. If I spark something in your brain, like, oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna like Timothy Gordon did. All of a sudden, I am like, geez, I want to know everything about the Catholic Church right now. Right? Because they spark something in me to want to go deeper into my love of this church. So it could be that way with anything, philosophy, but in particular politics. And I'm talking about that because I think it's sad that we can't talk politics. Our parents did. They had parties and people would go and they have in their cocktails and, have these stimulating. I think it's I will have a cocktail party for you guys because I think it's so much fun, and I make everybody dress sort of 50s because I love that, right? And I'll have some good orgies. I'm doing it. We're going to figure out a date. I'm going to have you guys over, and we're going to discuss things. And you can say, oh, I'm not sure about that. I can't discuss that with you, but I'd like to further. Let me go get some information first. Now, if the person doesn't know their topic, they probably don't want you to go. They'll be like, you don't have to do that. No, I really want to. I think it'd be fascinating. I'll give an example. I had a friend over, we're going to go to a play, and I can't even remember a thing. That's the good thing about me. It's like if you tell me not to say anything, I'll probably forget. I forget what, it was about a political thing, right? And, oh, geez, I wish I could remember what it was. Anyway, and she started telling me how she felt, right? And I was listening. And so, God, I wish I could make something up just to tell you. Let's see what I can be like. She pretty much says she's a communist. Now, why would anybody say that? I don't know. And her parents come from a communist country and fled it. So I don't get it. to me, see, and anybody, let's talk, you can talk back and forth with me right now. But to me, it's like communism sounds good on paper until you go to the country and see that, oh, they're kind of not doing what they're saying, that kind of thing. So anyway, she said her thing, and I said, oh, okay, well, oh God, I wish I could make something up. So I'm gonna talk about the wall, right? I'll say, she was like against the wall, and we should have open borders and this and that. So I said, okay, but I think I started saying, well, I don't think that's an issue, but really the breakdown. All right, you know what? You and I disagree. You know, we were on different points of view, and I felt like I was gonna punch her in a second. I was breathing, and I said, well, why did you get to say what you wanted and I didn't? And she goes, well, because we just both, you know, we're not gonna agree. And I said, I find that offensive. You're my house, I find that offensive. I wouldn't do that to you. And I said, so quickly I'm gonna say something and you're gonna allow me to say it because I let you say what you need. Let's do this, and we're probably closer together than we are apart. And I just go into that with you. But then after I said that, I said, okay, we can, you know, I said, don't ever shut me down, ever again. It's not polite. I don't shut you down, don't shut me down. And feel free to, I didn't scream at her, like inside I was, but, you know, have the social graces to say, don't shut me down, that's not right. Because then she goes, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. And we get along perfectly fine. So I think we need to be able to learn how to have debates again. And so you have to have some facts.
Okay.
And you're not always right, but facts are right? Opinions are opinions. Everybody's got one. So if you're discussing religion, you know, important things, religion, politics, you want to come with some facts, and if you don't have them, just say, you know what, I'm really not up on that right now, and I would love to carry this conversation with you, but I want to get I want to get some knowledge on this so I can be a better conversationalist with you. And most people will appreciate that. So, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, all those, did I say it right? I don't know what I did. Sudoku. You say Sudoku, I say Sudoku. Keep your brains working. My dad he was Italian, he would say, eat good Italian bread, and your teeth will be strong. He wouldn't say sharpen, he goes, read. I don't care, he would say, I don't care, read a book. I don't care if it's they don't even have it anymore, what is it called? When you used to look at the TV guide. In other words, he was making fun of it. It doesn't matter, just wrap your brain around something. And what was the last thing? Read a book, teeth, something else. Oh, forgive me, but there it is. Okay, so, let's see, any question? It's a very easy topic, really, right? And kind of, yes, it is, but it's okay. So I love old, my favorite movies are old movies. I don't know about anybody else, but I love old movies. I love documentaries because we can learn from that. Darling, you are just adorable, okay? I just love you. So sweet. I'm just like, I hate you. And really, how much more time do we have? Because that's really it. But let's open up to discussion, shall we?
I just wanted to bring up back to the beginning of the finances and money.
Oh yeah.
Just because I think it's such an interesting topic, and it kind of goes into dating, in my opinion, and marriage. I don't know who came to the marriage talk a few weeks ago, but you know, one of the marriage prep questions was how much money would you spend before telling your spouse? And in my head, it's like, well, I feel like all that would have been talked about way before the engagement ring. You know?
What were they saying? How much money?
How much money would you spend before you let your spouse know about it? But I just thought it was like, and I was talking to someone else about this too, about like how money is the number one, you know, cause of divorce nowadays. And I've seen that, and so I do think it's so important, especially because like not all of us have grown up with families that have invested money and know how to really manage money, and then to want to carry that into a healthy marriage and be able to come together as one too to save money, I think is so important. But I just think it's so fascinating because it seems like such 101, but it really is so much more than that.
Well, and I think it's because in that situation, you know, people get married and then they think, oh yeah, I got somebody else I can fall upon. I don't have to worry that much, right? And that can get us in trouble. And also the world's always saying, ooh, look at this, it's so great, $5. No, honestly, this is $5. If you go over there, it's $6, $5. You know, and you're sparkly and all that stuff. So that's why it's important. I think if we get in the habit, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, obviously you're all younger than me. Although when I came through the door today, I was walking in, and they said, "Oh, are you with the body?" And I go, oh, I am. Oh, we're sorry. We're going to be out here at 7. Like, oh yeah, that's okay. Don't worry. You know, we got set up. I'm feeling fat today, but I swear to God, God did it. God did it for me because I was hating myself. Got this dress on, and I said, oh, that chubby wubby. And then I did beat myself up, and then he said, I said, who cares? I look young. But getting back to money. So I think that you just get in those habits. Habit 1, which I don't think a lot of people do at any age. Because I went to a play, and I told everybody, I'm picking you up, it's $20, yada yada, right? We get there. Oh, we only take cash. Oh, I don't have cash. I'm like, you don't carry $20 on you? Like, I always carry $20, $30 because God forbid the car breaks down, or I know we have credit cards, but something, you know, you just who cares? You need some cash. So always carry $20, $30 on you, okay? And because I got stuck paying it, and then everybody's like, well, you got that Venmo, or I go, no, I got PayPal. And they're like, oh, what? And I'm like, and then guess what? Venmo is part of PayPal, so don't be like acting like I'm not with the times. And personally, I think PayPal is easier to use. I don't know, I'm telling you. But, so carry money with you, and now where's my train? I get on these tangents. Carry money with you, pay cash, you know, I mean, and go men and women, because women aren't all the clothes order. There's a lot of nice dressed men. Go through your clothes. If you haven't worn it in a year, throw it out, give it to somebody. And then when you want to replenish, take your discretionary money and save for it. Like you could put a jar or something, you know, do whatever it is for you. Oh, I'm gonna put, I got the $5 thing going, but I'm not gonna touch that $5. That's going in my Roth. That's what my plan is. Mm-hmm. And I encourage all of you to do it, because I'm telling you, it's fascinating when you get that $1,000 and you're just gonna go buy, and because you're not missing it because you didn't have it. You see what I'm saying? So make that. But then have a container that is a fun container for clothes, and this one might be like, oh, I'm going to go on a trip. And when you get $10, throw it in or whatever. Like I'm someone who makes tips occasionally because I do massage. So I now do my best to throw my tips in something. But then I use it for gas, or I use it for groceries, so that it's money, extra money, right? So if we get in the habit of doing that, here's another good thing that I always said I was going to do, and how many cars do I have? So you're paying a car payment, right? And let's say it's $300 a month, and then you pay the car off. Okay, in a couple of years I've paid my car off. Now what I want to do is take $200 and put it in the Roth IRA. The other 100 put into savings, or maybe I'll do 100 Roth, 100 in the thing for, you know, fun trip, whatever I decide, whatever I want, a fun thing, and 100 in my savings. So then if the car goes something wrong with it, you go in your savings, grab it, or you go in that discretionary. So it's like what I said, if you make it a habit, it becomes that. Because now I do, for the most part, only one, because I'm doing my book, and then I didn't have $4,000, so I put it on a credit card. But I already know by the end of the year I'll have that paid off. So I had that thought. But the dating husband and wives, I think it is good to, when you're engaged, to have that discussion. And this is my little opinion, but I think you should have a joint account, and I think you each should have your own accounts, right? Because I don't think I want to go, oh honey, I just lost shoes like that. You don't need those shoes. You know, so have that for you, you know, and let him have that for him, and I
I mean, maybe I'm just old fashioned, but and I am. I love being old fashioned. I think the man should always pay, and a gentleman does. Now, with that said, and that's going into the dating thing. So, but the husband usually, guess what? The wife. This is what if you didn't want to work, right? I think you should negotiate this. Say I marry someone and I just don't. I don't want to carry a job, but there's some things I want to do. So I can become the CEO of the house. So I get to hire a maid or do the laundry. I mean, I basically am now becoming his personal assistant, but I'm overseeing the house because he's going off to work, and I don't mean this feminist, but, not to say he can't do it. I'm saying that someone who does want to, go yoga and take care of the house and doesn't want to do a job, wants to take care of the children. But you can negotiate a pay because you're doing a job. And that way it makes you feel good. I'm CEO of the house. Let's have this conversation. And you, as the woman, if that's what you want to do, and I'm going to take care of the children, you sit down like you would in a job interview, and you have a number in your mind of what that is that you want to be paid, okay? And then, but you're going to be doing, doesn't mean you have to do the housework. You could hire. You're in charge of that household. And I know a lot of people that do that, and it works beautifully because then the woman's not feeling like, oh my God, I have to do this again, da da da. So it's important to talk money things. It's uncomfortable, but it's important to talk. And then I'm not saying women should be off the hook because that's not true. You both have a job. You both put into the joint thing that you have yours, and you can discuss that. So it because it does become an issue, and then I don't in relationships and marriage, there's going to be times that you're this, and then someone's going to be really feeling like I lost my job, and so this person doesn't go, oh well, too bad for you. You pick up. You're helping each other, and that's the beauty of a union is that it's to help and to empower each other to. You lift each other up, and you can always have criticism by building someone up instead of ripping them apart. So, for instance, could be, and I'll just make it about clothes. Like, oh, honey, do you like this dress on me? And no. It's like, well, if you like it, I do. Or, you can say, you know what? I think you're beautiful. Do you really want my opinion? Yes. Okay, I like that dress on you, but you know what? This other style is really fantastic on you. But personally, I don't know. I'm just blind when it comes to you. You know what I mean? You guys can be smart. But you don't go, no, you look like a big fat cow in that. What were you thinking putting that on? I can't go, you get change or whatever, But you can't do that to your friends. I mean, right? I do it to myself, which is wrong. And I have to say to myself, would I say that to a friend? No. So money is, I think if you just get used to paying cash for things and then paying yourself the 50, 30, and did I give you that already? So that will really help if you look at it. And just start with little things. Just say, oh, I'm gonna do the $5 thing or I'm gonna pay myself 15% of my bill. Because then you give 10% to the church, and it adds up. You're like, I don't make enough money. And by the way, if you can't give 10% to the church, just give what you can. If it's $2 in the basket, it doesn't matter, because be of service in a different way, which y'all are doing. So, any other questions? Yes.
Is it 10% after taxes or before taxes?
Let's see, who has the paper handy, because I'm always forgetting. I think it's after taxes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what you get take home pay. Yeah.
How did you get involved with the convalescent home?
Well, there was a woman that lived on my down the street from me, and I knew her for like 10 years. When I had my other dog, Max, who is Alaskan Mountain Park. Love him. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, crying, because he was such a Jesus dog. I swear to God, he had the love of Jesus, and so does Amy. And I'm one lucky person. I always say, must have done something right that God gave me two great dogs. But of course, I like to talk to people, and she was out doing the yard, and we became really good friends. And she would always say to me, Grace Marie, why do you come to my house at night? Shouldn't you be going out with your friends? I go, well, I asked them if they want to go for cocktails or go for walks. Nobody wants to, but you do. And she talk about older people are fascinating. She was from St. Louis. She went to, worked in DC. That's where she met her husband. And they worked for the government. And then she knew some lady that did ice skating in a hotel in New York. I'm like, what? And it was like you would go to dinner and watch the show in a hotel. So there's so many fascinating things. Then she got older, and then her children put her in this assisted living, and it broke my heart that they were there and they didn't go see her that much. So I would just take Amy and go to see her, and that's how. And then sadly, you can't beat up on yourself either. But I would go for birthdays, holidays, and a lot of times, please, people, when you're thinking to yourself, oh, I gotta go see Mary. Okay, I'll do it after this. Don't. Just go right there. Schedule it. Remember, I don't even know if I talked about scheduling, but that's goals. So write down a list. I gotta do this. Put in your goals, put the thing that you are afraid the most, put it first and get it done. Because if you don't, you're gonna always be ruining your day thinking about that. And when you do it, you go, oh, that's not bad. Why was I so scared to do that? So do that. But make a list, and Mary, I'm going to see me. And then it's so fascinating to cross, list off, I love it. And anything you didn't get to, go. But I do list it according to, like, wake up, I'm gonna walk Amy, then I'm gonna work out, then I'm gonna do my reading, then I'm going to 12 o'clock mass, and I got massages, so I'm gonna see Mary at 5. Anyway, long story short, is that, so I did go a lot. And the ones in this past summer, I kept saying I gotta go, and then I was going back to see my mom. So when I got back, I said, Amy, we gotta go see Mary. And I think I had something for her, and flowers, and I'm walking in, and the guy goes that I know from the thing goes, where are you going? And I just had that drop. I thought, and I go to see Mary, and I turned around, I just started bawling. And he was great. He said, you've been here for her. You've been for birthdays and holidays. And I said, yeah, but this past summer I just didn't, and I kept putting it off, and now I put it off. And he said, you put pictures of you and Max up, you were there for her. So I guess that whole story is to tell you that's how I got involved, and so I go back to that one. But you can go in anywhere. I just did a 1-act play at it's assisted living. They have different tiers. And so we did it just to do it, and it was great. And then we did a talk afterwards, and they engaged. Because I think people, you're afraid of older people. Like, what am I going to say to them? I'm telling you, you'll be like, oh, that's too much information. Sometimes you're like, I would never talk to my mother like that. Why are you telling me that? But I think they're just like kids. They're like, But you're like, oh my gosh. So you could almost tell them anything, and they're so not judgmental. It's like unbelievable. They want to help you, and it's I mean, honestly, like really going to an assisted living, or I don't care if you see at a coffee shop, you see an older person just sit by themselves, you're by yourself. I mean, just go past and say, hey, how's it going today? You will see them light up, because nobody pays attention to them. And I think that is sad, because how do we know that's not Jesus testing us? So that's how I got involved, and that guy helped me not to feel bad. And I talk to Mary all the time, because sometimes someone will come and go, Mary, remember that? Or like sometimes when we would have dinner together, and she would always make a 7 and 7. And so when I have a 7 to 7, I go, here's to you, Mary, So, anything else? Anybody? On anything? Anything from last week?
You can just walk into an assisted living and
yeah, just go up to them and say, and you know what, I mean, embellish if you need to, but I mean, it's because it would be really, sometimes there's privacy laws, but if you say, I mean, I do because I got the dog, but if you went, just maybe beforehand or something, or just go up to the desk and say, and I'm trying not to lie, because I try not to lie, but embellish the story, but just say, hey, I was encouraged, this wouldn't be a lie, I was encouraged, I'm with this group at my church, and we were encouraged to go out and volunteer and go speak to people. Is there someone I could go talk to, that doesn't get visitors? Then they usually will guide you. And then if not, say, well, I think this is important, because people are needing to feel some human touch and interaction. So what would I need to do so that I could do that? Or if you know, maybe you know that family that could know something you
I
do.
think we're gonna try and
Yeah.
organize
We've been actually wanting to do that as a service event.
Now, I can tell you, and I would help you with it, there's one, since I did that play, we could all go to that place, and I could find out the ones that, you know, there's different tiers. And then we could just go in twos and go disperse and stuff like that. So it's in Pasadena, it's not that far, and it's a really nice one. The other thing I wanted to touch on too, because who has, I think, what are some of people's pet peeves? You know, they're,
When you're on your phone during mass.
oh my goodness, what? No, you know what they're going to say? I'm reading the gospel, right? But you're not. You're not. I hear you talking. That's wrong. I think you should nicely
I
say.
have a friend who like writes notes. I'll be sitting
On
next
the
to him,
phone?
And he'll be like, what the priest is saying, and he'll like write
Okay, so
notes.
check, because that's true.
Yeah.
Because like, no, that is because in
Yeah.
acting class there's this
I
one
do
girl-
that, but I bring a notebook.
Yeah,
The mass
it's
journal.
almost it's almost, yeah, the mass journal, I love that. It's almost better to have that, like I said remember last week about interviewing. Because
You tell people.
and you better tell the person you're doing that, because if I was doing that, if I caught any of you, Gabby, oh, it's her water.
This lady behind him called him
That's
out.
okay. How much time do we have?
But he said, like, I'm
3
taking
minutes?
notes.
He should care.
Oh, wow.
9 minutes. And they're like, damn it. Yeah, so I don't know, find out, and maybe after maths go, you know, I'm just curious, were you writing notes? Like, act like you care. Like, oh, are you doing the Matthew Kelly journal thing? And they'd be like, what? No, I saw you on your phone. Were you taking notes? And they were like, no. And say, oh. I mean, like, make it kind of funny. Go, oh, well, I kind of was distracted, and I was hoping that was because you were doing notes. But can you know, I don't mean to tell you what to do, but it's kind of distracting them. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna hate you. Maybe just know we're Catholics. You can't hate me. Do you have to go to confession now? So, my pet peeve is littering. Okay, so this was another thing I think we could do. Notice how I'm including me now to the family here at the bond. But sometimes, like, for me, I live in a fourplex that looks like a house, and I'll walk out and I'll be like, really, how many people just walked past this big piece of paper on the floor and they couldn't pick it up? So I always, around my apartment, pick up litter. And can I tell you what else I do? I cannot stand the smokers.
I saw that today.
Ah,
I thought the grass was gonna light on fire, so I'm like, can you do that?
I don't get it.
Can you just like wing it? Like, I don't know. Obviously, don't smoke, so I don't.
When did it
Oh, yeah.
start? I mean, it's a thing. They all do it.
Or when they like walk past you, like as if it's like doesn't bother. I don't know. It really bothers me.
No, I'm just like, I don't get. I put tins because I live next to where they work, right? They work like a bakery and blah blah blah. So I put a tin there with a note. Here's for your cigarette butts. The neighbors next door flicked them in my yard. So you know what I do? I do it. I go, how does that make you feel? You're going to do it on your own. But I put a tin there with the note. Put one on my step because someone in my apartment complex smokes. And you come up and there's smoke. So, or this, you know, I'm going to tell you the truth. This is who I am. It's not very nice sometimes. I'm like this. Really? Really? The world is, and I'm talking this loud. I'm sure that all my neighbors go, is that lunatic? She's a loony bin, and I don't care. Because I'm like, really? The world is not a garbage can. And, oh, we're smoking and flicking our cigarettes. And this is me out there. And I said, oh, so not only are you hurting your lungs, you're hurting my lungs, the bird's lung, then you flick it, then the birds eat it, then they die, and it goes into the water, and we have bad water, but whatever! So, the world is not a garbage can. And I have people come out, and I go, yes, I know, I'm losing it, but what I'm saying is the truth. And then I go with that. And my neighbors love me. This one lady goes, I love that you do that. That's what I think all the time. But, you know what else I do? Not that you gotta be careful. Someone can kill me when I say that. You know, someone's like, okay, I'm gonna drop that paper. I can't you borrow paper? And I go, oh, excuse me. Oh, I think I dropped something. And then I go, oh, and they're like, and I said, no, you just dropped that. Yeah. And I said, well, it's litter. The world's not a garbage can. But you know what? I got it for you this time. Don't worry. And then they're like, they want to hate you, but they know what they did was wrong. And so that's is it 2 pet peeves? No, it's 1 because litter. Okay, who else? Come on, it's fun to talk about it. Get it out.
While we're in.
Get it out.
I'm actually really impressed because I think that for us in our age group, it's like if you're inside a Catholic church, you want to be there, or at least you're attempting your own sanctification. When I growing up, my parents were very clear. It was like, listen, you don't chew gum in mass, you can't eat food, and one thing you don't do is you don't talk in the sanctuary. And so, it's like I'm, trying to be as kind as I can, and by that I don't disturb anybody. But when you're sitting in front of the Blessed Sacrament before mass, maybe adoration, and 2 people are, oh yeah, we just haven't seen each other in a week. And I'm in my mind, of course, in the midst of my prayers, I'm like, God, what is the level of annoyance and vitriol I can have before I close the like the vestibule's right there, the sanctuary's right here. It's a couple of doors. It's not that big of a deal. And someone's trying to pray.
Yeah.
We're all trying to get ready for
But
mass.
you know what? I think that it's okay. Like me going up to say, oh, excuse me. I try to the loony bin of me is not necessarily okay, but when you're engaging with someone like, oh, excuse me, you dropped that. If you do it nicely, like you dropped that, like I don't go, hey, you dropped something. Oh, excuse me, like I know and they know, but I'm acting like they dropped it, right? So you're telling them, and that's mud on their face. You don't go, well, look, I just say, well, and I do it really nice. Go, well, you know what? The world's not a garbage can, but I got it for you this time. And I know they're walking away hating me, and then at the same time thinking about it. But yeah, the TNT, talk about, and I'm thinking, oh, how many times have I, and you might be sharing something about church, but now I'm going to be conscious to not talk because it's true. And that's why I veil. That sometimes really helps with a focus and not, it's here. So you kind of have to look and it's on you. So you're kind of thinking, oh, I gotta be, but I think that I don't like this, like when kids cry and stuff like that, that's okay. And I hate when people go, when I say next to the person, I say, excuse me, but you were a child too. They're speaking to God right now. And they don't say anything because that's different. A child, after a while you take the child out. But I think you have every right to say, excuse me, gentlemen or ladies, or excuse me, but I'm really trying to focus in adoration. Do you mind taking it outside and then coming back? And if they get mad at you, just say, I don't mean to offend you, but I'm really doing my best to focus here. How can someone get mad? I don't understand. They're not really mad at you. They're not mad at me for saying you dropped something. I'm caught, and I feel like an idiot now. And I'm really angry at myself that I'm going to project it onto that person. So, but it's okay for us to say things in a nice way, and occasionally to scream to the universe. Anybody else? Yeah.
I was going to say, regarding to everyone's examples, really, and I think this is, from my opinion, the biggest problem with our age group today is the lack of embarrassment when they do something wrong like that. Like when you say, oh, sorry, you dropped this, and instead of, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, even if they meant to do it, you're embarrassed that someone caught you in the act. They don't even care, they just move on with the world. And to me, that's just blows my mind. No respect for,
Yeah.
Can I add?
Yes, please.
I think that's a sign of humility. Like when you have those embarrassing moments, it's either you're gonna show your pride or you're gonna show who, if you're living according to the truth.
Correct.
Because this happened to me a lot of times.
Yes.
And also other people, and a lot of people. I can see I just can see the difference. Like they don't want to they don't want to accept the truth. Because we're human, we're prone to error.
Right. It's they don't take responsibility.
They always have this excuse, oh, because this happened, that happened.
Well, and I think that this generation is going to be another great generation, because just hearing what you're saying. So I don't know if your parents were this way, but all they had to do is give a look.
Yeah.
You know, you were like, whoa. I mean, I go home still,
That's my
and
dad.
I
You
am
didn't have to touch
scared
me.
to
Just looked
death.
at me.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you know, what was that thing you were, you don't talk till you're spoken to when you're a kid. But now, like, oh, but that's not right. No, what they were saying was, we're grown-ups now, having a grown-up conversation. And my parents always, you had to come in and say, oh, hi, Danielle, you know, I'm forgetting your name. Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Nice to see you. And, you know, and then, or Mr. Jordan. And then you leave. And so weren't playing in the room, because I think that's annoying when you go to see adults and be adults. Like, I love kids and I don't mind interacting, but then, like, yeah, go play with yourself, because I'm not your, you know, I'm not here to play with you. So I think this generation is becoming old-fashioned, you know. Sometimes old-fashioned, just like the beauty of church and the way Jesus had it, and where we're trying. What I said in the beginning, we're not Protestants. Why do we want to take the rail away, not have communion in our hands? You know, they can, because they don't believe it's the body and blood of Jesus. So the sanctified hand should be the priest, and you shouldn't get it in the mouth. I mean, we were always like, if it was stuck on your tooth, you're like, you couldn't touch it. And I know watch TNT, they'll give you some good advice about that. So, in wrapping up, thank you once again. Did I say everything I wanted to say? It's fun, I think, when we open it up. But I can't wait till dating. And also, there's questions. It says for married people, but or getting married. But I think it's before you get married. I think that's really the questions. And they're fascinating questions. Like, even if you're dating someone seriously now, like, if you are, go home and do the questions, because it really reveals a lot. So I'm excited about next week, and I want us not to be embarrassed about asking questions. Of course, I'll laugh and get red in the face, but it's okay. You know, who cares? We're gonna really have an open discussion about it, and whatever, you know, you guys need from me, I will do my best. Not that I'm, you know, not married, so I don't know how to land somebody. You know why? Because I always think, well, they're not that bad. You know, geez, I can hang in there with that person. But you know what? The answer is move on. So thank you so much for having me. And who's closing prayer?